Hey Aquarius, hope you're doing well. Welcome to your reading. So to start off here, during your pre-shuffle, I got the the word old photos and memories come, and then I got this feeling of reminiscing, and then further from that, the magician card came out. Now the Magician card in my deck, I'll actually find that now for you. So the Magician card in my deck is one that has an awareness of time in it. Um, it depicts someone looking at a mirror at a previous version of themselves, and that previous version of themselves is then looking directly at the viewer. So let's see here. I should be getting close. Now, the first card, I'll just use this as a quick reference for you. So this popped out in the pre-shuffle. You'll be able to watch it at the top right if you really want to. But this was the pre-shuffle card that came out. So he's staring at the previous version of himself, which is kind of this reflection is breaking the fourth wall here and looking straight at the viewer, signifying someone who is looking kind of back at themselves and can also look to their future self. It's meant to denote an awareness of their actions and the effects that they cause. So obviously the current self is a lot more developed than the previous self, and that's because of the actions of the previous self. So it's one of reflecting back at our previous actions. So that was the pre-shuffle, and then the first card here is the Six of Swords, obviously moving forward. So there's uh, I think you're moving on from some kind of previous memory. You're coming to grips with a previous memory, revisiting a part of your life that might have been sweeter or more stable, or now you're seeing the effects of your previous actions, whatever those are. And I think there's kind of a discord going on, um, perhaps with previous friends. So you may have fallen out with an old group of friends, or you're reminiscing on times with friends that you no longer have, um, and how full you felt, and it's full of nostalgia, and there was uh, a lot of good times had, memories. You got through a lot. Um, I'm getting the sense of like growing up and and you know facing our work, what we have to do from day to day. There might be a lot of mundane things going on in your life, and you might be a little bit bored right now. Um, you're wondering why it's so boring. Why was it so much better before than it is now? What did I do? Um, and I think you're contemplating that right now. Um, there's like this value in innocence that you have, or of when you were younger. This card here is my strength card, and it shows some children and like a young kind of tiger lion there resting on a chimera. So this chimera represents many parts of ourselves, some that conflict, some that work, kind of manifesting. And a lot of times these parts of ourselves can be at odds. But here they're riding it, and it's calm and it's happy. So this innocence, the strength in who they are is controlling those behaviors. Um, there's definitely a lot of mundane parts, so you might be digging into those past parts of yourself to an earlier time when things were easier and trying to look back and find what it is that made you feel full and emotionally secured and happier. But work is really annoying. Um, it's slow. I think you feel it's aging you. Uh, it might be a little bit annoying. Like you might feel like you can't keep on top of it. So there's this sense of escapism kind of floating in here and there. Like what do I do? Where do I go? What choices do I have? And you're trying to manage that all at once, perhaps getting a little bit overwhelmed. But we end up with this last card here, the Hermit. So major arcana. Obviously, the Hermit is very experienced, wise. So I think your overall message is to look further into the future and see what it is that you want towards the end of your life. You might be looking back at the beginning, but it's easy to look back at the beginning and sometimes miss what it is right now that we have and what choices we have available to us right now, and how those lead us to the future selves that we're supposed to become eventually, whatever that is. Um, I think you might not know, and that's okay. Like this reading now, to be quite frank with you, I'm not a fortune teller, so I won't tell you what will happen, what might happen. Um, I can speculate, but that's not my job. I want you to have the information, the questions and agency to question your own motives, beliefs, and thoughts, patterns, behaviors. Well, you name it. I want you to be the one to take a look at those. Um, Even if you can't, like, here she's sitting. This is your only advice card, the Two of Swords. So this is a card of weighing options. We have another two here, the Two of Pentacles, Two of Terra, where there's a few options. I think you have a few options available. You don't know which of these options is going to lead you to where you want to go. That might be part of the problem. Um, in this scenario, though, I think you're headed in the right track, looking back in time to see what brought you happiness as a child. Um, but from a wider perspective, a larger perspective, a perspective of that encompasses other perspectives. So not only you, but other people that you care for, um, those that you want in your life. Those are the important things to keep in mind when you look back at that environment, trying to replicate that environment. Deep down, it's not necessarily what's appearing on the surface, but what 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 what's underpinning that experience. And that I think will bring you the answer that you're seeking. It's not necessarily always on the surface, or easy to spot right away. But consider your relationships at that time. Uh, this is my personal opinion, but our relationships will give us a lot to go from, a lot to work with. Um, they give us experiences that we can't necessarily have alone. Um, so don't just focus on yourself. I would say in with my advice to you, because it's too much. It's a lot just to take on all on your own, all by yourself. This is the Ten of Wands. Yeah, that's a heavy burden, and I know I'm at fault for doing this myself, but we want to take on a lot ourselves and push ourselves to achieve things and become greater, and that's great, but there's a balance for that, and it's a little bit sensitive, so pay attention to the ones around you and the ones you care about. So um, don't forget them. I don't think you do necessarily, but at least in this mode of reminiscence, look to the moment right now. Take a look and write it out. That would be my general advice. Write it out and see what you find. Allow yourself just to run free with it and see where it leads you, because that's the power, right? It's this innocence and strength in who we are and what we desire will give us more to work with and understand about ourselves. We can recognize where we went wrong before, which desires might be healthy, which ones are destructive, which ones are realistic, which ones we can achieve, and that will I think send you along your way, Aquarius. So in terms of the hexagram, so in addition to this 9 card spread, so I interpret this as a lower trigram in an overall hexagram reading. So for those that are familiar with that, you here we have unchanging. No, we have changing yang, old yang, and then we have unchanging yang, so younger yang, and then younger yang again. So this initial hexagram is that of heaven. So this is what it looks like. All right, so 3 solid lines with the first line, the very bottom line, changing. So if you want to continue this, maybe reflect a little further, make it a little more personal for yourself, you can cast 3 more lines, and that would be the upper trigram, looking for changing lines. And that will give you a little bit more information. I urge you to do that, write it out, and see if you can glean anything from that. Okay, so that is the lower trigram. So in addition, I have generated cards using specific keywords. So there are 4 cards. I'll let you know what 3 of those words are. The 4th is a secret, so I won't tell you what that card is. You can check. If none of the 3 really sound interesting, then the 4th one could bring you some kind of clarity. These are meant for you to meditate on. I won't be interpreting them. They're just for you. So you can pause now, check the description. I'll tell you what they are right now, however. So the first card is library. The second card is responsibility. Third card is promotion. And the 4th is a secret. All right, so pause now, check those timestamps. I'm going to show them now. So here is library. Second card, responsibility. Third card, promotion. And then the secret card is storage. Okay, so those are all of the cards. That concludes this reading and video. If you like it, like, share, and subscribe. I have a coffee channel down in the description there that will link you to the generated card. So if you want one of those, a copy of those, you can become a member and have access. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Have a great day.